All right, lots of environmental puzzles completed there. All right, so this is a great way. I love how this starts. I'm just kind of looking around right now, but I like the shrine a lot. There's that door I couldn't get through. Now it's open. Just like I like all the lines, patterns here. It definitely looks like there's a puzzle somewhere on the floor, right? It almost seems wasteful for there not to be. Editor Noah coming in here to talk to you really quickly. First, I kind of miss that very clear outline of a drowning man that's in light, but I'll come back to it later, so don't worry about it. I actually want to talk about the rust over to the left. It kind of looks like a crab to me. I think I'm grasping at straws here, but to me it kind of looks like a crab, and that got me thinking. There's a lot of discussion of how the world works through this game, and we talk about theology and like possible creationism and things like that. You know what never really comes up? Astrology. Astrology seems to be an abandoned concept by the witness, and I understand that. I mean, we talk about like mythology still, though. Like, I bring up ancient myth in these little break-ins all the time. Maybe it's just because I know a lot about Greek mythology, but I never see any ties to astrology. So perhaps that is a concept that the game and the creators of the game and Jonathan Blow don't want you to consider. The idea that your fate is written under the stars that you are born under. Or perhaps maybe even a more practical idea of we live in a world without stars. The witness takes place on this island, and there is the sun, and there is like one star that I will point out later that's like out in the distance somewhere. There is, in fact, one star. But two stars do not make a constellation, especially if one of them is the sun. So I just thought it was interesting that I don't really see any evidence of astrology on the island. So this is clearly a panel, right? But I have no idea how to do it. And that's apparently wrong. Shrine will tell us. Oh, and there's one of those monoliths. That's where all my puzzles are going. All the environmental puzzles, they end up there. So this is trying to teach me like to look through things, because that was technically on the other side of a wall. Oh yeah, here's another door. So yeah, very simple like little teaching mechanism there of like, hey, look through this. And now we're in here. I forget where we're supposed to start. This is very suspicious. What do we do once we're in here? Did I not power this area yet? What's happening? Because I see screens, but they're blank. Am I too early for the shrine? Oh yeah, this is neat. It's a little tree. But you get these like weird rust holes, but if you look through them right, they become things. There we go. See that? So that white piece of marble out there looks like nothing, but at the right angle here, we can kind of see. What do you see here? Man looking through a telescope, man drinking champagne flute. Either way, he's got the feet of a bird. I wonder if that is that's a creature. When you go back into our Black Watchman days, humanoid, chicken feet, has possible champagne or. Oh, I got some stuff to say. Here we go. So first and foremost, that little tree that I ignore, that's how I open like all the gates and solve all the puzzles. I'm not going to figure that out this stream. So if you were excited for those puzzles, I'm sorry it doesn't happen. Dum Dum misses it. But let's talk about the silhouette here. Now, I did some research. Apparently, I'm missing two of them. There is the theory that this is the progression of a woman being turned into an angel. So there is another one where she looks more normal, and then there's a third one where she actually has her wings. I am going to throw that out. I don't think this is meant to depict an angel because of the feet. It's clearly bird or chicken feet, as I keep saying in the stream. I don't think this is a woman becoming an angel. And if you follow Christian beliefs, the whole idea of you die and then you get a harp and wings and a halo, not actually what is believed in Christianity. You die and you go to heaven. You don't die and become an angel. Angel are actually different entities. So the transformation of a human into an angel is actually not something that's in Christian beliefs, nor was it something I could find a lot of information about. I found a little bit, but it all seemed to stem more from fiction than folklore, which is more what I want to focus on here. If you have a good information, leave that in the comments below about women turning into angels, or humans in general turning into angels, but I don't think that's what's up here. I have three theories here. First is Harpy. Harpy is a humanoid creature with wings and bird-like feet, and they bother Kratos. And they're basically just, they tend to be your standard enemy. They've appeared in many video games. Why not The Witness? Two, and this is going to tie into a lot of things we see later, I think this might be a siren. Believe it or not, the sirens actually had bird feet, which is something I didn't realize. If you didn't know what a siren is, in Greek mythology, Odysseus passes the sirens, and if you hear the sirens call, they beckon you with lust and love, and then they drown you in the ocean. And Odysseus actually has his men tie him to the mast so that he can actually hear the siren song without going crazy and jumping in the water. Very similar to Mermaid, if you really think about it. But the idea of having a siren here makes sense because in a little bit, we're going to be talking more about drowning. So I thought maybe it's a perfect fit, especially for where it's located on the column, for this to just be a siren. But here's my crazy one for you. There's a demon called Lilith, or Lilitu, in some translations. And she actually appears in the Bible. And some believe it's actually Adam's first wife from the Garden of Eden. Yes. And there is scripture about how basically she's terrible and like all of her crops will become bristles with thorns and things like that. So the idea of her being casted out of the Garden of Eden and being Adam's first wife and literally being something that this Catholic schoolboy has never heard of until right now, I find endlessly fascinating. There could be the idea that she is outside the shrine, which, by the way, is called the Monastery, but I say shrine, and I'm going to continue to say shrine, but overall, in guides and stuff, the word is monastery, so apologies. But the idea of her being outside and looking in is an idea, and we have that whole other area that bothers me because it doesn't do anything, that's solved using apples in an orchard. So perhaps that area being the Garden of Eden and her being removed from it so much and being here at the monastery, I think could possibly mean something. So I don't know a lot about Lilith, and I'm behind on getting this video out by a week already, and I really want to do more research, but that's all the research I have time to do, so this gets out only a week late. Give me your ideas, because I'm really fascinated by this idea, and I really want to look into it more. This might be a whole nother video. Telescope. See, now it looks like nothing. You can kind of still see it's there, but just because now we know it's there. Yeah, it's hard to unsee now. Any more of these? This looks like I'm not supposed to be here yet. I don't know why nothing's powered. I'm looking at the cables. Do any of these lead like outside or something that I'm supposed to do? A tiny tree. Hello? Weird. Oh, here's another one. You can kind of see this man falling. Or it kind of looks like it's upside down and he's swept up in the sea. But the light is only on him, so you can kind of see it here. I told you I'd be back. Here we are talking about the man in light here, who I believe is drowning. It makes sense to me that he's drowning. It kind of looks like there's water and he's kind of being sucked under. It also plays with the idea that on the other side of this pillar or column, if you look at it the right way, there is something that could be a siren. So it makes sense to me that we then have a man who is drowning, which then creates the idea that maybe, just maybe, this pillar is telling a story. That this is some sort of connected events and we're getting like comic book panels of what's happening. The idea of drowning usually is symbolic of helplessness, and we cannot help this man. And I think it's very interesting that his situation changes by us observing it. This brings up the old idea of light being a particle and light being a wave, because again, you see this man is created through light. There was an experiment done on whether or not light acted like a wave or a particle, and it changed based on whether or not it was being observed. So this man is only drowning if we observe it from the right perspective. So I know I'm pulling in a lot of different ideas here, but what we have is light, perspective, and a man drowning. So I'm trying to tie those up very nicely. And he's only drowning from the one perspective. And if you're not looking at that perspective, he doesn't really exist. Huh. That's a cool one. There's probably one here through this. Trying to look at it through the lily pads. There's our lily pads, whatever this plant is. It's kind of framing like a boat of some sort. I see something. Something's kind of forming. Boat, right? Boat. Yeah, I don't super see it, but like the way that these are coming together, like those are some very sharp angles here. Makes me think that there's something here, and I am just not seeing it. So this one I can't quite get to like work right, but I do believe that there is a boat here. And it's interesting. This is one that like when I try to look up information in other theories, I don't see this one as often. I don't see really any people talking about the boat here. But this is, again, tying into the theory that this is telling a story where we have the boat, and then there was a siren, and then a man being pulled underwater. So I kind of have this theory that this is trying to tell a story. The issue is, it's a box, and I didn't spend enough time looking at that fourth side. And at time of recording this, there's a lot of streams we have to get through before we can go back and look at that fourth side. But I believe this is a boat. I believe more and more that this is a siren, and then I believe that we have a man drowning. So I don't know what the last side would be. It would either have to be the beginning of the story, which would be the man getting on the boat, or the end of the story, which would be the dead man, or possibly, I don't know, him getting married to the siren. Maybe it works out between the two. Who am I to judge? But we need to go back and we need to look at this pillar again, because if there was something hidden on 3 of the sides, there's got to be something on that 4th side, and we got to go back and check it out. If you have the time to throw in the witness and take a look, go ahead and take a look and tell me what you find. Anyone? Anyone in the chat? I don't know. Okay, shrine might be closed. I was very excited to do some shrine stuff, but it's not. It don't want be open. I don't know why it's not on. I think usually, or I think the first time I played, I came from the other way, because I'm pretty sure I came from that door. There's a door. Can I open you? No. I'm like, there's a cable here. Like, perhaps. Come from the other way. Well, I'm following the cable now. Is there something else that's supposed to be on? Guys? Yeah, it leads to this panel, which is not on. Okay, so yeah, I think I have to come the other way. No bigger. No big deal. I don't know what word I tried to create there and said bigger. No bigger. I think that's something I got to do later, because there's something I have to do to make that all orange, so I can do that one. All right. Over here it's fall. What's that? So this is an interesting thing. I believe I remember this one. Yeah. So we have this man here, desperate to get his grail. He's on his knees. I feel like he'd do better if he stood up. But like, he clearly wants to have that grail. But in his shadow, he already has it. I philosophized enough in the stream, so I'm not going to talk much about the Holy Grail, but I wanted to bring this up in that when I tried to do some research, it's really hard to do research because of Dan Brown. Thanks, buddy, because it's all theories about, the painting of the Last Supper and the space in between Jesus and Mary Magdalene, and this being the symbol for woman, and all that good stuff. But I tried to get into like the history of the Holy Grail, and some people believed it was kind of like a fountain of youth, that it would give you like immortal life. Also, it's the idea that it gives you happiness. So having the Holy Grail be the representation of the thing he's reaching for, and the struggle of reaching it without realizing it, that from another perspective he already has it, kind of makes sense. And it also makes sense in the quality of the game that I'm beating my head against the wall trying to find the answer, but the answer might be inside me the whole time. What do you think? It's a nice little neat puzzle. Not even a puzzle. Easter egg more like. I feel like there should be something else here for me to listen to perhaps, but like weird empty trophy cases. Looks like this area's been destroyed. Hey, here we go. You guys ready to philosophize? Let's philosophize.
O Lord God, helper of those who seek you, I see you in the garden of paradise, and I do not know what I see, because I see nothing visible. I know this alone, that I know that I do not know what I see, and that I can never know. I do not know how to name you because I do not know what you are. Should anyone tell me that you are named by this or that name, by the fact that one gives a name, I know that it is not your name. For the wall beyond which I see you is the limit of every mode of signification by names. Should anyone express any concept by which you could be conceived, I know that this concept is not a concept of you, for every concept finds its boundary at the wall of paradise. Should anyone express any likeness and say that you ought to be conceived according to it, I know in the same way that this is not a likeness of you. So too, if anyone, wishing to furnish the means by which you might be understood, should set forth an understanding of you, one is still far removed from you. For the highest wall separates you from all these, and secludes you from everything that can be said or thought, because you are absolute from all the things that can fall within any concept. Nicholas of Cusa, 1453.
So it's interesting, this idea of seeking God, but God is unobtainable, basically. It's interesting to put it next to here with that puzzle, kind of this idea of I constantly seek you, but any explanation of you is not suitable for you. So it's a thing you always want, yet unknowingly have, if you follow? I don't know. I feel like that was very poorly said. There's a lot of like double negatives in there, and the English teacher in me did not care for Nicholas this now. Nicholas! Let's talk about Nicholas. I did a little bit of research on him, and he basically was responsible for the philosophical idea that God is infinite. See, before, that was a very, controversial stance to take, because infinity means that it is limitless and cannot be counted, and anything without limit is chaos. So to say God is infinite is to say that God is chaos. And Nicholas is not trying to say God is chaos, but he is trying to say that God is limitless and thus unknowable. So when he's talking about I will never fully know you, it's because God is infinite. So, kind of going along with the idea that God is everywhere, even in you. Basically, that's his big theory that he put forth, is God is infinite and thus unknowable. Sorry for how many times I said basically. Whew! And that's going to do it for another edition of Solving the Witness. That was not a lot of gameplay, but there was a lot of things to discuss in there. And I'm going to be honest with you, I feel like I only scratched the surface. I wish I could go back and do a little bit more research on everything. Maybe that'll be the next video, is we'll just go back through this one again. Or we'll do more gameplay. I definitely think that there has to be a video coming up very soon that will be a review of what we've already done, along with the many wonderful comments that I've got with theories going forward and ideas put forth by you, the viewer. So in the upcoming future, there will be a reflection video of Solving the Witness, where we go back through and try to come up with some new theories and put forth what you guys are thinking. So be sure to leave comments below, and here are the takeaways for this episode. First and foremost, I want to talk about astrology. Astrology seems to be completely unrepresented in this game at all. I can't find really any real evidence or ties to astrology. Am I just missing them? Or do you think it's purposely excluded from the philosophizing discussions that this game is meant to have us have? Philosophizing. I'm losing it, guys. We got to get this video out, so I'm not cutting it. 2, what is the creature that we are looking through? I don't think it's an angel. I don't think we're seeing the progression of an angel. I don't think that. I think Siren is most likely. I think Harpy is possible but not interesting. And I think Lilith, we need to do more research on. But what do you think it is? Maybe it's a creature that I didn't even find in my research. Let me know. Then we got the man who is drowning and the possible story that this pillar is telling you. And what the hell is on that fourth side that I forgot to check out? I'm really slacking, guys. What do you think that is? Do you think it's a story? Do you even see the boat? Because I admit the boat's kind of hard to see. Let me know. What do you think of the Holy Grail? This is something that I will come back to in another stream because I always found this I don't know, I kind of like the art of it, of the man reaching and the shadow holding it. I don't know, I really like it. So what do you think that represents? Is it happiness? Is it youth? Is it knowledge? Is he brothers with the juggler? You tell me. And finally, we got Nicholas of Kusa. What do you think about Nicholas's idea that God is infinite but not chaos? What do you think of that philosophy? As always, leave it in the comments below and be sure to subscribe so you can get a notification next time we try to solve the witness.